Fix It Tony here. Thanks for clicking on the video. So we have our Civic back. Today we're going to work on a couple of things. Last time we were here, we kept having a problem with this plug shooting out. And I thought the dealer left it out, but lo and behold, doing some research, it's a common problem. So we got a new plug that's a little bit thicker and it's not going to cause issues. We're going to also check the vent on the CVT. And then we're going to see how we're doing with our oil. We just started this car on Valvoline Restore and Protect. We'll see how that's doing. And then last but not least, we're going to replace the sway bar links. We put some on here and they're making noise again. So we're going to investigate that. We have replacements just in case these ones are bad and it's not something else. So let's get this one. The tires off. Brake pads are completely shot. So we'll be doing brakes on this thing too. Always important when you're doing oil changes. You know, if you're rotating the tires or whatnot, just make sure you double check that you don't need any other maintenance. Because a lot of times you'll end up finding that you do, you have to skip over it. Then you end up with problems on the road. Like, unfortunately, when you skip over stuff like what we just showed you, you're going to end up having to buy rotors too, on top of having to buy brake pads, which they have lifetime brake pads on this one from AutoZone. So I'll just go pick those up, remove those, take these in, and we'll be good to go. So that came off pretty clean. Drain our oil. Oil filters are right here. Makes life very easy to get this oil change done. And then the next thing we were looking at is these links. So I got these from Rock Auto. They're generally pretty good. Haven't had any really issues with, I think this is Movtech. But on the other side, it is clicking. So we're gonna remove both of them. We're gonna get these brake pads off so we can take them to AutoZone, swap them out. And then we'll start getting this thing put back together. We'll take a look inside, see how the Valvoline Restore and Protect has been doing. The oil change light just turned on. You can see that oil is pretty dirty. So, ooh, that looked like a little glump of something just popped out of there. So anyway, we'll get this drained out and we'll get these parts. Honda has one of the easiest cars to do brakes on. You have two 12mm bolts at the end here. What I'll do is I'll stick a wrench in, flat screwdriver in here, decompress the caliper, and then we could remove our two bolts. And once we do that, then this just pops out and we have our pads. As far as the rotor, what I usually do is there's light glazing, I'll just go over this and scuff it up. But if there's any grooves you can catch your nail in, this needs to be resurfaced or replaced. So we'll go ahead and pull this off. We'll put the pads off and we'll go swap them out at AutoZone, and then we'll put the new pads on. As we pull these pads off, it's important to look at their condition. With the Hondas, you'll see see is right about to hit the indicator. These pads are kind of cracked up. I mean, it's probably something metallic, maybe not. But it's important to replace the hardware when you do these. A lot of people don't replace the hardware, and you can see all this brake dust and crud that gets stuck in here. You can see how hard it is to remove that out of there, and it's because this slide is all filthy dirty. If you don't replace them, you really need to clean these up really nicely. Actually, a big chunk of the pad missing there. That's kind of interesting. We'll get these swapped out. So the springs, the little clips here, they need to be replaced. The slides should be replaced. And then also you need to lubricate these slide pins also. And these just pull out, clean them off, put some fresh, high quality grease on them, you're good to go. And then you'll need a tool for collapsing your caliper, which I'll show you when I put this back. So we'll start loosening up our oil filter here. See if I have enough room or if I need to move this. I'm probably better off moving that a little bit so I give myself the space I needed. Trying to do this one hand is a little difficult. This is a smaller wrench. Sometimes you have to use the bigger one, but it claws on there. You can get it loose. I need to go actually grab the oil filter. I thought I had this one. So we'll let them both drain, make sure it's not dripping on the floor there. And then we'll let these drain out while we're at the store here. I'm pretty sure this is a 7311. Nope, it's let's take a closer look here. So 7317. All right, so we're gonna get that. We'll let this oil filter finish draining out, and then when we get back, we'll put the new oil filter on, put our drain plug back on, let this drain the entire time. All right, so we're back from the store. We pulled our old filter off. So we're gonna go ahead and use our tool here. Again, if you're curious about any of the tools I'm using, I'll put them in the description. There are affiliate links. It helps out the channel. But I found all these tools to be reliable. and they work. So we're just going ahead and put this on here and go ahead and cut this oil filter open, take a look inside. I would normally do this one-handed, but every time it ends up turning into a chore. So let me do this and we'll get right back to the video. Off. This one's a little spring-loaded from the little pressure spring that's in here. So we're gonna grab it, take it over to the oil pan so we can take a look inside and see what we got here. All right, first thing we're gonna do is remove the top. This filter does feel a little heavy. We'll see how much oil is actually left in here. We don't see any magic glitter dust, which is good. So we'll put that down. Then we have our first gasket here. There is a little chunk of something right there. I don't know if you guys see that. I reach in and see what that is. Oh, that's a particle of some sort. It's like plastic. It actually feels like silicone. It's probably one of the gaskets inside the engine. Not a big deal there. We have our actual filter element here. It's heavy. Still has some oil in it. You see it's not draining all the oil out, which means that this thing was getting clogged. So there was stuff in there. It's about 1/4 of the way full of oil. We'll just pour it out so you can see what that looks like. See if there's any sludge. So far it's just pouring like regular oil. There's our spring. That'll pop out. Take a look inside. Ooh, there is a lot of residue in there. So Valvoline Restore and Protect, it does a nice job of getting this stuff loose and get it into the oil filter. The only thing is, as you can see, probably want to change the oil filter a little more often when using this product. I'll put this in the sun. This filter is heavy and it is full. I don't see any magic glitter dust in here, which is good, but definitely this is definitely a dirty oil filter. So when using Valvoline Restore and Protect, again, high quality filters, probably change it more often. This has been about 4,000 miles, probably do it twice. You don't have to drain the oil, but I would definitely change this filter to be safe. So we'll throw this in the bin here and we'll get our scope out and take a look inside the engine. So we have our scope in. We'll take a look around. This isn't the scope I like to use the most, but it is the one I have available. My other one unfortunately broke. I'm waiting for V4 to send me a replacement. Not really sure why it broke. Looks pretty clean inside. I mean, there's the gaskets right there. When I first looked at it, it was pretty tarnished. There's still some more tarnish in there, but it's definitely doing its job. There's nothing crazy in there that points at any major problems. So it's doing its job. So we'll go ahead and get this taken out and we'll start working on our brakes. So we're going to collapse the caliper. Just make sure it's clean. If there's gunk all over it, just wipe it down before you collapse it, because all that gunk will end up in the cylinder. I use a collapsing tool. This works great for multiple pistons. It also works for these just fine. What you want to do is just go ahead. They're magnetic. They come right off like that. And then you can use them on big pads, little pads, whatever. And then you just flip the switch on it, which is right here. And you just ratchet it until it collapses. Can't do it one-handed, so you have to trust me it works. Just make sure you clean this whole junk all off of here before you start collapsing it, and then this will work just fine. Again, this will be in the description if you're interested in using something like this. You see, you just put it in there and just crank along and it collapses nice and easily. Nothing complicated, very easy to use, and these are very inexpensive. So there's some other types you can use, but I found these to work the best because one tool can do multiple things, including multiple pistons. So anyway, starting to move around now. We'll get this collapsed and then we're going to go ahead and replace our hardware. And again, you just pop out the old hardware and pop in the new stuff. Old hardware is here on our new hardware. You can see why you want to replace this, because brake dust will cause this pad to shimmy and get stuck and wear unevenly. So replace your hardware, pay for the better pad. Couple quick points. Replace everything the way you took it out. These just slide in. To put the pads in, you want to fold them like a book. So when you put them in, I'll kind of show you here. You want to put them in like this. You want to push them in so they both clear, and then twist them and push them in. If you don't do it that way, you're going to struggle to get this thing in, because they do tend to put a considerable amount of paint on these, which makes them difficult to clear if you just try to push it all at once. So if we just put it in like a book and turn it, it falls in a lot easier. And then these pins, they're very easy. We'll just go ahead and pull them past the point that they come out, And you can see the grease is old. We're going to wipe these down, put new grease on them, and then push them back in like so, and make sure that seal gets in there. You just got to give it a push and it'll slide right back in. And then we'll reassemble the same way we took it apart. Remove these and forget which way they go in. The one with the bushing on it is always on the bottom. Again, I wiped it down. I used the Lucas Ultra Extreme Heavy Duty Grease. This works the best. It deals with the heat the best, and it doesn't run or create a problem later on. And you can see it just slides right in. Move it in and out a couple of times, and we're good to go there. Same thing with the top. Make sure it moves in and out without an issue. And then we can go ahead and put the springs on. There's two springs that go on there. Here's the old ones. And those are going to go in like this. Let's get them come out of here. Well, you know what? Maybe they didn't give us those springs. Sometimes they give you all the hardware, sometimes they don't. And then there appears that they didn't. So, again, this is why it's important. Just in case, these are non-wearable items for the most part. That's why we kept these. Of course, I got my screws. I'm trying to do this one-handed. We can reuse these. And then we're going to put them on like so. Just basically exactly the way that they came off. So, sorry I'm moving around so much here. That one-handed on this stuff usually takes a little more time. And they just slide in like that. See how that one goes in like so. And then the top one, exact reverse. And again, you just want to make sure you have another hand available generally when you do this, because it's going to try to push these out, push them out of the pad, but it looks like that's good. So that's what you want it to look like. And then we'll put our caliper back. Okay, so we got both sides done. A couple of important notes. Just remember the orientation. If you video it or take pictures before you take it apart, just remember to put it back the way you found it. Don't touch the pad surfaces with your hands. And clean this off. Try not to breathe brake dust. Asbestos isn't allowed in pads, but it's still in there, so you don't want to be breathing that stuff. So clean them off really well. You know, even if you take the car through the car wash, make sure you hose it down before you start disassembling brakes so you don't breathe any of that garbage. So now we have these sway bar links, and we're going to take those off. You have an Allen key in the middle and then a nut on the outside there. And I have some work through sockets I'm going to use in order to get this done. But you can do it with an Allen key and a regular wrench too. It's not that difficult. And you can see these have lubrication points, and they're just, I don't know, they didn't look like they held up very well. I'm gonna put the same ones back on, cross my fingers that it doesn't give me a problem, but if it does, then we know we need to go ahead and use a different brand. Now I'm gonna show you how I do this. Not everyone's gonna have all these tools, but if you want them, I'll put them in the description. I bought these a long time ago, but they've been very useful. And then I also have the pass-through ratchet here from Milwaukee, which I will also put in the description. The nice part about this is that they go right through. So when you're utilizing, and again, I put this ratchet, this is a Harbor Freight ratchet, but it's dual-sided, so you can use 1/4 or 3/8 drive. So we can use this to take loose the nuts and hold everything in place as we're taking that loose. So it makes life easier. If you find it valuable, go ahead and use one of the affiliate links. Helps out. This is bad down here, so I just went ahead. Actually, a 13/16 worked. 3/16 worked a lot better, and then just use a ratchet and a wrench to get that bottom one. That top one was easy using the other technique, but that was a little more difficult. So anyway, we got that done. We'll go to my drawer here. I have my Milwaukee greaser. You want to make sure the Zerk fittings are greased just enough where you see the boot shoot out a little bit. Nothing more than that. You'll damage the actual joint. 7mm to tighten these down, and you're good to go. I'll also have the stuff in the description, but you can use a manual greaser. Works so we have our car down. Again, we went ahead and added 4.5 quarts of Valvoline Restore and Protect. We're going to keep an eye on that filter going forward, since we did notice an issue with that. And then next thing, we were going to go ahead and pull out the air box so we can get to that plug and put that plug back where it belongs, the new plug. So that old one is not staying in there, and we'll double check the breather. We're almost done here. And we also need to change, reset the change oil light. Okay, well, I did something a little bit time saving right now. You guys got to pull out the whole air box. This whole valve has to come out to get down there to it. And you can probably see it's way down there. I actually put a little bit of sealant on it this time too to really get it in there so it doesn't pop out again. But you can, if you have these long nail nose pliers, you can get down in there and push it in without having to remove everything, which is kind of nice because I'm really sick and tired of pulling this thing apart, to be tired to be really honest with you. Actually, today's Easter, so I really need to get done with this car. So we'll get inside, reset our change oil light, start her up, check oil level, and we're just about done. So it's going to be kind of hard to see, but basically on these older Civics, you have to hold the button, the trip reset, for 10 seconds, and then you're going to hold it again for another few seconds, and it'll reset to 100%. Just got to give it a second here. Once that's done, you're good there. Also, because we did do the brakes, you want to pump the brakes a few times because they are going to be soft, and because we did collapse the calipers. So you got to be very, very careful about that, because some people will drive out of the driveway and realize the pedal's going to the floor, freak out, and crash into something. We're not going to do that because we know better. So I'm going to go ahead and back the car up just a little bit so I can get out a little bit easier now. And then we'll go check oil level. Right, we cleared our stick. And one thing I'll notice is this had a lot of varnish on it, and the varnish is disappearing. So again, that's your Valvoline Restore and Protect. It works really good at getting rid of varnish. I have noticed that. Also, I didn't say, but make sure you shake the bottle before you put it in, because it looks like our oil's right on point. If you don't shake the bottle, you want the contents. It got a little bit of dirt on it. The contents will settle the additive package. So you want to make sure that's nice and in there. So cool, we're all set here. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, I'm happy to help you guys out. Oh, here's Nala, she's my supervisor. We did a good job, yeah. Anyway, if you have any questions, comments, and concerns, please put them in the comment section. I'll put everything in the description, all the affiliate links. It helps out the channel if you guys want to buy using those. If you want to use your own channels, go, other ways of getting it, go ahead. But again, another car successfully getting cleaned out by Valvoline Restore and Protect. If you have any questions about the brakes or the links, we'll see. Again, I bought those sway bar links from Rock Auto. The return process is kind of a pain, but they felt fine. Both of them felt like the stock ones, except this one had a little bit loose on one side. So we're going to test drive this and make sure it's clear, but so far it looks good. So anyway, the sway bar links, I generally try to buy OEM. I didn't this time. We'll see if this works. If it doesn't, these are the Movotech or whatever. If these don't work out, I'll go ahead and buy the OEs and put those back on. So I'll let you know in the next update when we do the next oil change. Otherwise, have a happy Easter, guys, for you guys who celebrate, and have a great day.